How the heck are you guys? You might not be able to tell by looking at this empty calendar behind me with no banners on it, but actually it has been hard confirmed in-game who the next limited hero coming to Watcher of Realms is. So let's get right into this. This is pretty big news. I want to break it down for you. I also have a second part of this video where I've done a lot of research. It took me longer than I thought to figure out every single date for every single limited banner ever. I thought this would take me 5 or 10 minutes. This took me over half an hour. Maybe I'm just incompetent, but I do want to go over this because who they've announced as the next limited banner was really interesting. And that choice, I think, informs the discussion of this because the way they've been approaching new limited hero releases and then old limited hero banner reruns is weird as hell. I do want to talk about it, but let's get into the nitty gritty, or really the most important thing. Who's it gonna be? Also guys, quick reminder to please subscribe to the channel. We're getting close now to 51,000 subscribers. It would be fantastic if you take a moment to like the video and subscribe. Thanks, and let's get back to it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Some of you may already know, some of you may not. If you go over here to System Notice, we've got an update content preview. Maybe you didn't know also, we have a huge update that's about to drop tonight at the time of filming this. I'm gonna break it down tomorrow in 2 different videos. There are so many hero buffs. I wanna do one video just for the hero buffs, and I'm gonna do a second video breaking down all the new content. This is one of the biggest buffs we've ever seen in this game in the 2.5 years it has been out. But if you go to this little infographic version, it doesn't have everything involved in the update, but it does cover a few big things. And I want to scroll all the way to the bottom because that's where they've officially announced and teased who this next limited hero unit's gonna be. Let's scroll all the way down. There's the booty, and there you can see is gonna be Anora. Event exclusive hero Anora returns, and they even gave us a date. Maybe you saw in the thumbnail, she is arriving on January 15th. So if we look over here on the calendar, right now I'm filming on Tuesday, January 6th. She's coming out in just 9 days. This is a pretty important rerun because anyone who doesn't have Anora should really want Anora, and anyone who does have Anora will very likely want Awakenings. Her A1 is very good, her A3 is fantastic, and her A5 is very good. So unless you have her maxed out, she's gonna be guaranteed within 200 summons. This is hard to really skip. We'll break that down in literally 1 second, but I do want to explain why her banner coming back January 15th in 9 days is so informative and revealing when it comes to their limited release schedule and how they've rolled everything out since the first limited when they kicked things off with Reeve, just the 2nd month into the game's history, right? 1 month after launch in August 2023, up until now, with Anora getting her 3rd run, her 2nd rerun, the 3rd time they've done her banner, now in January 2026. It's just really weird. I've kind of color-coded it. We have 12 different kinds of limited banners. There are the 11 event-exclusive limited 200 guaranteed heroes in this game. They each have their own banner, and then we do have a 12th type of banner, which is our exclusive lucky pick, the limited selector. And you can see, some of these have been run twice, a couple of these have been run 3 times already, and then some of these have only had their 1 single run. And I just think it's really curious, and I think we gotta talk about it. Well, let's pop this open and let's talk about Anora. I'm gonna keep it brief. Next week, I'm sure I'll put out at least 2 pieces of content on Anora, maybe 3. We'll probably do an updated guide or a showcase. I'm sure I'll do a Should You Summon. TLDR, she's really good, and she has an excellent bond skill with Yemerit. So if you don't have her, I think you absolutely should summon for her, simply because she's gonna be guaranteed. She's very valuable, her awakenings are valuable, so bird in the hand, right? Go for the guarantee. I haven't heard hype or rumors or anything about other huge banners coming this month. Granted, we never really know. I'm sure we'll get a big announcement after the update tonight. Kind of a hard banner to skip unless you already have her A5. So let me just explain who exactly she is. She's got some titties, she's got some booty. That's the main thing. Yes! No, I'm just kidding. If you don't know her, go watch her cinematic. I don't think I can sit through that right now, but go to the gallery, watch her cinematic. It's something. Let's start with what makes that cinematic so something. It's her kind of, I don't even know the word, gyrating on the ice, and she's saved when she's about to be attacked by Yemerit. And that's who she has a bond skill with. And the bond skill she gives to Yemerit is very good. It's very powerful. The bond skill Yemerit gives to her is incredible. So the bulk of Anora's damage, not all of it, but a lot of her damage comes from, the majority of her damage comes from her summon. She's not like other summoners like Valise or Beatrix, you can see here, who summon multiple things. You know, we've got the Dream Eaters in the case of Beatrix. We've got the Serpentine Spirits in the case of Valise. They have multiple things running around the map. You know, Valise can have up to 5 out there at a time. Pretty interesting mechanic. Anora's a bit different. She permanently has one summon. When you deploy her, she summons Labor. This is like a dragon spirit, and it's extremely strong. When you get Ymerit, you just need to pull Ymerit once, and you will have forever unlocked this partner bond skill over here. Her Labor summon is upgraded into Labor Ice. And basically, Anora does a ton of DPS, and she does a ton more and brings extra utility when she upgrades from Labor to Labor Ice. So if we look at Labor, he gets 100% of all of Anora's attributes. So he basically has all of Anora's stats. So whatever you built upon Anora, she gives to him. And then Labor does attacks all the time. These attacks are going to deal 90% AoE magic damage to up to 8 enemies. Pretty good. But when you get Labor Ice, still that summon is going to get 100% of her stats, but now Labor Ice is dealing 15% increased damage to crowd-controlled units, so any enemies under CC, very relevant for cultist comps. Anora can start putting out some CC with Labor Ice, as you're about to see, so that's 15% increased damage on most of the damage, which is excellent. Each attack now does 110% AoE damage as a baseline instead of 90. That's very significant. That's like a 22% increase in damage, you know, scaling from the 90% to the 110%, 20% additive damage per hit. And then if we look over here, there's a 30% chance for all of Labor's hits to put out a Winter's Bite debuff for 3 seconds. Winter's Bite functionally is a slow, and when you stack it up to 3 times, it becomes a freeze. It is one of the most annoying, pesky, RNG-based crowd control effects in this game. So getting that bond skill is huge. If you already have Ymerit and you don't have Anora, definitely go for her. If you don't have Ymerit, I would still go for her because hopefully you're going to get Ymerit one day. It's pretty good stuff. I'm not going to break down the whole kit right now, but just know she's really strong. Labor gets stronger with this Ancient Spirit. She does AoE herself, so she's hitting 5 units with her basics. Labor's hitting 8. She's got a big ult here, a big bursty ult that hits up to 10 units. And then after she ults, Labor's damage rises by 150%. So remember, Labor Ice is already dealing more damage, already dealing increased damage to crowd-controlled units. Now extra damage, it's just ridiculous. The range expands to this huge range. It goes from a standard mage range to this really huge expanded range. She's got other really good stuff too. She has a unique kind of dot called Noxious Breath. Very good. And then she has other ways to increase damage, particularly to Labor, and then a unique damage increase she gives to other allied summons, not just her own. So very, very good. You're going to want her. She's kind of crucial to a lot of the best summoner comps. You know, if you've got an Ezerith, if you've got a Valise, if you got a Beatrix, if you want to put the whole thing together, getting an Anora is very good. She also does have dual faction, not just in Cultist, but also Esotericist. Really nice. Last thing before we break down all of the past banners and what the heck this means, let's talk about Awakenings. I'm going to make a bigger video on this. The A1, really good. Whenever she triggers Noxious Breath, that's from that passive, right? This is her dot effect. Labor has a 20% chance to put this out. Whenever that's triggered, she does an immobilized state for 2 seconds. Immobilized state is a 100% slow, so effectively it's like a stun for 2 seconds. It's AoE hitting 8 enemies in range. That's very, very strong. The A2 is just extra attack, but the A3 is huge. Labor ignores 20% of all enemies' magic resistance at all times. So he has an inherent 20% penetration, a 20% magic defense shred built into his kit. It's very powerful. She gets a lot stronger with this. I actually am going to be summoning for this A3. You can see I have her A1. I'll get my guaranteed copy, and then I'll probably pull, I don't know, let's say up to 7 or 8 more legendaries hunting for that. But, you know, I'm in a unique position, but it's worth it. I mean, this is a very good awakening. The A4, even more penetration. So this is another 8% for both Anora and Labor. So Anora has a baseline ignoring 8%. Labor now by A4 has a baseline of ignoring 28%. That's crazy. And then at the A5, enemies on tiles affected by Noxious Breath, that's her dot effect she triggers with her passive, they're going to take 20% increased damage from both Anora and Labor. So the A3 is the superstar, the A1's very good, the A5's very good, A2's not bad, A4's not bad. It's just good stuff. So Anora is someone you're gonna wanna target. Let's go to the fun part of the video, the second half of the video. I'm not gonna go that long, but holy crap. Why on God's green earth did they choose to run Anora again? I don't get it at all. I'm not upset so much by it, but I am like very worried about the pattern we're seeing. There clearly are units they just wanna run over and over and over. And there are clearly units that they don't think are good enough and have forgotten about, or they maybe think are too good and refuse to run again. So let's go through what I've created here, putting this timeline out. Maybe eventually, maybe I'll put on the website, I'll make like a left to right actual, visual timeline with dates increasing. But what I've done here is I put these banner types in the order they were originally released on their first run, and then I've written in with dates who got a second run and who got a third run. So the first banner we ever got was Captain Reeve in August 2023. Then just 2 months later, we got Falsia, October 2023. Then 2 months later, we got Gwendolyn, December 2023. All of a sudden, we started thinking, all right, we get a new limited here every 2 months. And that was confirmed when we kicked off 2024 for Valentine's Day, February, 2 months after December, we got Lust, February 2024. Then we got Dahlia, June 2024. This was pretty curious. That's a big delay. However, if you look, in the time between Lust and Dahlia, we got our first 2 ever reruns of banners. We had a rerun of Captain Reeve in March 2024, and very shortly after, we had a rerun of Falsia in April 2024. The Reeve banner was on like March 28th or 29th. The Falsia banner was in the middle of the month. It was like 4 weeks later, towards the end of the month, but I mean, that was very strange. Then nothing in May. Now we get a new hero banner. So we had only those 6 total banners, right? The initial banners and then the rerun and the rerun. Now we get Dahlia. Literally 2 weeks after Dahlia, I think she was on June 14th, 2024. It's like 13th or 14th. 2 weeks later, we got Anora. So we had 2 new limiteds back to back in June. Very, very, very weird. Then nothing. Nothing until October 2024. So from June to October, right? That includes July, August, September, then October. 4 months later, we got Kagiri. Did we get anything in between then? Yeah, we got a Lust rerun, September 2024. So the 3rd rerun ever. Now we finally get our 7th unique limited unit, Kagiri, in October 2024. And then 2 months later, maybe we're getting back to our old patterns, we get Sun Wukong, December 2024. Diao Chan came for Valentine's Day, February 2025. So you can see Kagiri, 2 months Wukong, 2 months Diao Chan. Seems pretty interesting. And then a huge drought. Nothing at all in terms of new units until July 2025 when we got Moradin. So that's pretty weird. March, April, May, June, July. We waited 5 months, so now they're getting a lot less frequent. During that in-between, we had a couple more reruns. We got Sun Wukong already getting a rerun banner May 2025. That is 5 months after his original banner. That is weird as hell. Then Falsia, maybe the weirdest thing they've ever done, got her 3rd banner, her 2nd rerun. They're running her for a 3rd time, June 2025. That's the first instance we ever had of a unit going on Raid Up 3 different times. They ran her limited exclusive banner 3 different times. Finally, we did get Moradin, like I said, July 2025, and then another huge drought. Lady Mina was the next new unit, November 2025. So August, September, October, November, a 4-month break. We also don't know when they're gonna run Lady Mina again. I'm hoping next month or March. We'll see, but who knows? Because look how unpredictable this whole thing is. Now, did anyone come in between Moradin and Lady Mina? Well, you can see over here, we had our first and only Diao Chan rerun so far. She got her 2nd banner, August 2025. And then a very, very strange thing, Sun Wukong got his 3rd banner, his 2nd rerun, October 2025. So in the space of 11 months, Sun Wukong got 3 banners. He had his own limited banner 3 times. Finally, I want to move on to this. You can see I didn't go perfectly in order because I wanted to highlight this kind of unique thing. They introduced 2 weeks after the Moradin banner. Moradin was the middle of July 2025. 2 weeks later, they introduced the exclusive Lucky Pick limited selector. That was like the last weekend. It was like July 28th, 2025, something like that. So this kind of is probably what they would point to as their solution for, oh, this is the rerun. We don't need to rerun things as much anymore because we did that. But keep in mind, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, I think it was 3 weeks, they ran Diao Chan in the middle of August. And then 2 months after that, they ran another Sun Wukong rerun. Finally, they reran the limited selector once again this past Christmas. That was December 2025. So all in all, they've run a lot of limited hero banners, but the choices on who they've run multiple times, who they've run 3 times, and then who they've not run more than once, it's crazy. So to wrap it up, you can see Anora, January 2026, in just 9 days, she's getting her 3rd banner, her 2nd rerun, and that's happening with so many units having never had a 2nd banner. So we have Falsia, Anora, Sun Wukong are our 3 units who've had 3 banners. They've had the original banner and 2 reruns. 3 times they've run their limited banner. But then, I mean, look at this. Gwendolyn, Dahlia, Kagiri, Morden, Lady Mina. We have 5 units who have never gotten a 2nd banner. And 3 of those units are on the older side. Gwendolyn and Dahlia were 2 of the original 5 limiteds in this game. They are both at least a year and a half old. Gwendolyn is over 2 years old. They've only had 1 run. Kagiri, one of the most desired units in the game, only got his 1 initial run. They've never rerun him. I think they would point to these limited selectors, but I think this is ridiculous because they've proven to be so unpredictable with who gets multiple runs. Morden and Lady Mina, you know, unless they were to get the Sun Wukong treatment, we can't expect them already, though I do hope we're getting Lady Mina again really soon. All in all, I just wanted to put this in one place and just show you how much we cannot rely on logical patterns, right? We have 5 units who have only had their banner once. We have 3 units plus the limited selector, so 4 kinds of banners that have been run twice. And then we have 3 other heroes that are getting 3 runs. They've run their banners 3 different times. I just think it's strange, and I just think it's something we should be aware of because I don't think they're about to all of a sudden become more reliable. So I just don't think we can count on anything. Like, will they ever rerun Kagiri? I don't know. Will they ever rerun Gwendolyn? This was their chance, right? It was Christmas. They gave her a huge buff. They've been focusing so much on Northerners, but no, they didn't run her. And one more time, I'll say they're probably going to point to these limited selectors as the solution, but they keep choosing to rerun certain banners. You know, it's not like, oh, well, if you want an old unit, go for the limited selector, because you also could, in theory, at least with some units, wait for them to come back around, like Anora. She's coming right now. So I just think it's very strange. I think the fact that they have not rerun Kagiri, not rerun Dahlia, not rerun Gwendolyn, those 3 in particular, it's just so strange. It's just so weird. And I don't have so many specific thoughts. I just wanted to put it all in one place and share it with you guys. So there you go. Bit of a rant, a lot of yapping, but Anora's coming. She's coming in 9 days. Look forward to a lot more content on that. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.